to Return the Krondor, another Sierra-published RPG. Much like Quest for Glory 5, it is part of a beloved RPG franchise that took a peculiar pivot to 3D. But while we're going to see some jank, I do actually generally love this game. With me on commentary is ASMR, the other runner for this game. Hello, ASMR.
Hi, Lemming. How are we doing, everybody?
ASMR has found probably, I think we kind of like have a half and half thing going with the skips here, so he's really the best person here to explain some of the weirdness that's going to be going on. But first, we do need to set up a book. This is based off the Mid-Kimi fantasy novel, so they kind of stick to that format. There are 10 chapters in the game. Each save file is a different book. We're gonna make our name. We're gonna switch our difficulty to easy. Easy gives us more XP. That's pretty much all it does. Game focus to mage. I'll explain that when the time comes. Combat speed. You know we're gonna turn that up slowly. There we go. Trap lock mode. This will become relevant one or two times. We're gonna do dice roll. That's quicker than playing the reflex minigame.
Unless you get really unlucky, which, because RNG.
Yeah, we might. I mean, that's some classic marathon luck. So I think we have everything set up for the run here. Time will start when I hit accept in 3, 2, 1. Skip the intro here. So this is chapter 0, 0 of 10. Kind of an introductory chapter to the game. The only critical main quest thing we do is pick up our mage for the game, Jazhara. And then we're basically done. Now, there is a whole side quest we can do where we save a bunch of children in a sweatshop. Sorry, we don't have the time. Maybe some other day in some other category. First off, we are going to... Okay, we got favorable items to sell here. We are going to pick up a wand for our mage. Asmar, can you explain kind of what the advantage of the wands are and... I think how the game meant for it to be used versus how we use it.
So the wands are an item you're able to use during combat to cast one of the higher level spells you don't really have access to until much later, with the caveat that it punishes you by reducing your ability in that spellcast, or that school, by 1. We use those wands on repeat all the time because it gives you a really high powerful spell really early in the game. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, basically the trade-off is far too weak, and it's just not going to bother us here as we spec Jazhara into an unrelated school of magic, which is going to be fire for the most part, as well as initiative. Initiative is king in the speedrun. The earlier you take a churn, the more likely you are going to defeat an enemy, and they're not going to be able to take a churn. And you're going to see why momentarily, why that's so important, because we're about to enter combat.
And the combat in this game can be wild. It swings from lucky to unlucky so quickly, and if an enemy gets a turn, as you'll see here, it takes them like 6 seconds just to take an attack, and then with every additional attack on top of that, it's another 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, so the RNG spread when you're going for world record is pretty unreal. Yeah, James is actually doing something helpful here. So is William. William is our frontline warrior. So usually he can down early enemies in one go, but he won't always be that consistent. Jazhara, I've switched to a defensive stance and given her a weapon just to increase the chance of a parry. But as you can see, using that wand, she's able to really clean up here. This is William's girlfriend, Talia. She did not make it. These are pirates. They've attacked a bar and caused general trouble. And we need to figure out why they are why they are being such jerks. And causing trouble. As you may have noticed, those potions are grayed out. There is an identify system to this. Fortunately, it does tell us whether those vials are a potion, which could be like a healing or other kind of stat buff, a resin, which is something you can use on weapons to make them stronger, or an oil. There are very few kinds of oils in the game, and in this early chapter, we know for a fact from metagaming and playing it so much that it's a fire oil, basically a Molotov cocktail. So we're going to give those to James, who's our high utility thief character, because he doesn't really do a lot of damage early on, but if he just throws fire bombs at people, then he can still be helpful.
He also has incredibly good initiative because of him being a thief-style class. He gets a bigger flat bonus on top of that initiative score that we've been adding in. And on top of that, there's also a dice roll between, I think it's 0 and 100. So James is normally first, but as we saw there, Jazhara got the...
Yeah, Jazhara is being an MVP here and actually got a great area of attack off first, which made this textbook, actually. This is perfect.
Yeah, real smooth.
We're probably not going to be so lucky in this next fight, but we'll see.
Yeah, good luck.
Oil, so we got one for James. We're going to need, I think, what, like maybe 4 or 5 oils throughout this chapter. We have 2 now. As long as we get a few each time, we should be okay. Gonna move him here. Kind of have him draw aggro. Basically, if James gets downed by some of the more aggressive enemies here, I don't really care. As long as he gets one of these fire oils off. The main thing is we don't want this fight to go too hairy, and then Jazhara gets killed, because Jazhara, throughout the game, really, is going to be the person that clears enemies.
There's another benefit to moving James early in combat. Is,
see, right here, because now he gets targeted by
really
this.
slow.
Yeah.
And also that, throwing things is slow. So if we get James closer to them, when James goes down, he goes down quickly, much faster.
Yeah, let's, I kind of want to loot this guy, but I'm going to risk the early onslaught here. Just, I don't want him to...
Nice, really good round 2 luck there.
Yeah, we already have that sword necklace, which we're going to be able to sell for a ton of money. So I don't think we need a...
Yeah, true. Something we haven't quite covered is at the top left, you got the round counter, along with an affix or a fate that goes along with each round. And those can be favourable or unfavourable if you're unlucky. But we got Hero's Crest there, which means we got increased chance of critting, basically. If we get really lucky, we get the one that means we just get really fast initiative. And that's ideal.
Yeah, so kind of the way this game handles RNG, 90% of the fights we do are going to be preordained. It's always the same place, same number of enemies, same types of enemies. What does get randomized is their loot. They get different equipment, sometimes magical, sometimes not. Sometimes they get those fire, oil, grenade type weapons, sometimes they don't. And that's where you get a lot of the chaos in the run. It does mean that in these early chapters, sometimes we do very minor reroutes on the go. There are situations where we might not get any fire oils at all, and then we have to make James more aggressive. Other times there are characters that are hard to loot based on the way we knock them out of the fight. But we know for a fact they have high level loot. But because we got some good stuff early on, I'm not too worried about missing them.
Yeah, unfortunately we missed the magical arm guards for William there. Because of that same reason.
Fortunately, because of the bar fight, we did get an item that I know sells for a ton of money. So I said, you know what, forget it. Let's skip the arm sleeves and go straight to straight on with the fight. This whole attack on the jail. This is a jail, by the way.
This blade is poisoned, and I know how to use it.
Love that line read. The blade is poisoned.
My blade is poisoned, and I know how to use it.
Anyway, this
lies.
Yeah, he does not know how to use it. This scribe here, basically, he churned code here and let the pirates in. These early chapters was trying to figure out why on earth this is all happening. That guy who just ran off is our antagonist for the game. So a lot of what we're doing early on is going through town to areas that Aethmar and I just know are the next logical place to push the plot forward. So we've gone to the Ye-Bitten Dog sector, where the quintessential Shady Tavern is, where we're going to find out more about what's going on. We're making a pit stop here. Actually, I need to sell this. I'm also doing a little bit of item duping here, basically by switching around the character when you're trying to sell something. The game gets confused and just sells a copy of the item and doesn't actually take it out of your inventory. So currently, Jazhara has 2 of what should be a one-of-a-kind weapon for that shop. It's a bone-shaped wand that basically casts a death spell that will basically one-shot the majority of enemies in the game. So you can appreciate why that might be helpful.
I don't think you got the second one. I think it
No?
didn't give it to you because you went back onto her misc inventory.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. We can buy another one, or honestly, we can
Get
skip
one
it.
later. Yeah. We have a perfect opportunity in Chapter 3 where we have to run straight past said shop, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's what I get for trying to explain and talk. Oh, no, hey, look, I did it. Wow.
Oh, you have got to. Okay, it just disappeared in the shop, but you know it was there. You're right. You're absolutely right.
All right, perfect. Glad my autopilot is somewhat reliable.
I think honestly, this game's so janky, it just visually wasn't showing up in the shop, but you had it all along.
Oh yeah, no, that's classic. The real trick of running this game are the tank controls on these characters. You have to like actually get them to orient to the right pre-rendered background. So approaching a bar should be simple. It's not. You have to kind of run past it a little bit first, just to get the right angle here and talk to this bartender who's going to give us the scoop on this guy that the pirates killed. Might as well get into it now. Basically, what's happened is a bunch of pirates attacked a Eshapian vessel. Eshap is kind of the Zeus of the fantasy pantheon of this world. We don't know why the characters did that, but basically the ship went down too fast before the antagonist of the game could get a special plot MacGuffin, and he's basically causing all this because he wants to figure out how to get that plot MacGuffin back. What should I do here?
Move away.
Yeah.
Wait, I guess.
Maybe he'll chase me.
So we have a big problem with this fight, and this guy in the corner, this bear's mercenary just there, while he's in the corner, he's untargetable, and you can't do anything. And if you try and hit him, he's got magical armor on that makes him very hard to kill. So we have to move away just so he steps out, and then we can start killing him.
Yeah, it's got to be an oversight, but it's really tedious in a speedrun. Anyway, last fight of Chapter 1, all good. That actually went pretty clean. Usually you can go a lot more pear-shaped, so I really appreciate that for my marathon here. Thank you, Return of Krondor. So that chapter is over. We're going to do a bit of leveling up here. Again, pumping all that initiative where we can. Oh, I skipped to William by accident. Let's pop back over to Jeshara here. Oh, you know what? I think I caused a problem for myself here. Nope, we're good. Okay.
That's okay. At 90, you should still be able to do it, but hopefully we get the sewer skip, so...
Anyway, here is the obligatory sewer level. Got a little skip here where we're supposed to stop and be scared of that monster, but I clicked during a critical moment between hands-off mode to just kind of keep running here. This chapter is a good example of a couple of kind of immersive sim-like options the game gives you. For the most part, it is a game that progresses in a very linear fashion, but sometimes it does give you kind of deliberately bad options to handle things. For the sewer, what that means is that what you're supposed to do is strike a deal with the local sewer gang called the Mockers to take care of their sewer monster problem. And if you do that, they will put you in touch with the owner of the bar from Chapter 1, who will explain the whole plot MacGuffin summary of the game for you. The game will also let you say, you know what, screw you, sewer gang. I'm just going to kill my way over to the guy. Now, if you do that, the game will try and punish you for it by putting you in some very difficult fights. We used to do this in the speedrun because it was faster, but it was also just absolutely harrowing. The chances of those fights going really wrong and killing your run was very high. And even if you didn't die, there were a lot of opportunities for the fight to really drag out and just kind of kill your time.
Agreed.
What we're going to do instead is kind of a tricky skip that involves a quick save at a very pivotal moment where a fight is about to begin but hasn't actually started, which will put the game in a very confused state, which we'll kind of talk more about as it happens. But for now, we're going to take anywhere from like 1 to 3 or 4 attempts to actually get the skip, because even if you get it on like third, fourth try, it's still going to actually have a favorable outcome for you time-wise. So first, I'm going to try and push past this guy. Let me see if I can get the timing right here. So this first attempt's kind of a YOLO. It's really hard to get consistently the first go-around, but maybe we'll get lucky. We'll see. That is Return to Krondor. That's Quest for Glory. I don't want Quest for Glory. Whoops. Sorry, force of habit. Here is Krondor back.
So pretty sure from timing this, we found out it's frame perfect, but if you're a frame too late, you are then stuck into that fight, and your book save will your book.
Yeah, hence the save. Oh my god, we got a first try! Wow,
amazing.
Okay. I'm going to be quiet here while I attempt to get an audio cue. ASMR, you can try and explain why we're going off screen here blind.
So we have to, when we go in through this bug, it doesn't really know what to do with us now because we're in a glitched state. So the camera gets fixed until we have some form of forced encounter. If we try and go straight forward beyond it, the game just doesn't render anything further. So we have to try and go back to the waterfall, And here for when the waterfall starts getting louder in the sewers.
I think I got
and
lost. Try that again.
Yeah. And then try and turn during this blind movement to get an encounter that we know people will come and talk to us. At which point we just tell them we're working for the prince, go away, and they run away. And then we break free of this locked camera. It's about 12 seconds towards the fountain, and then turn left a bit, and then turn right a bit. Completely blind. So respect to Lemming for doing this.
That should be it. I wonder what I'm... The main issue with the tank controls, beyond the fact that they're tank controls and no one likes those, is sometimes our characters will actually organically churn around obstacles. When they choose to do that and when they don't, it's not entirely clear to me. Which sometimes does mean that my blind runs here can be a little harrowing. Take a left turn at the 1420 on the timer.
And then a few right turns after that, and hopefully... It's a really hard mechanic to do this completely blind.
Yeah, they're probably not coming up on stream, but you can tell by little audio cues, depending on the waterfall sound, that you're either on the right track or you're accidentally going down the wrong tube here. Let's give that one more shot here. Excuse me, everybody. Thank you. Just listening for that waterfall cue here. I think he's shot up another hallway again. Thankfully, these sewer guards over here are being very patient with me.
The other part to this is we both have our own kind of timings and how we do it. So it's not even like I can offer any kind of assistance because we have our own ways that we're going to manage this. It is just complete blind movement where Lemming's just working real hard to hear that audio cue.
Try. I must be doing this a little too early. Let's do one more of an extra second here. This is some next level issues I've had of this. I wonder if I'm like forgetting something important here. 17. There we go.
There we go. Good job. Well done. Completely blind.
Alright. Got the name of the prince.
And this unlocks the camera for us to be able to go back to them and just run past them and nobody bothers us.
Yeah, these folks are gonna stop us one more time and threaten to attack us, but it's ultimately not gonna... Oops.
Oh, you pressed attack. Did you bookmark?
No, I sure didn't. Sorry, everybody.
That's okay. You get to see it again.
Yep, my new strat that I kind of did last minute there, where I kind of inched him forward until we got that encounter. One more time.
You just really want to show off the cool tech of doing things completely blind.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we'll keep the whole run here. We'll just run to the end of this one screen here. Gosh. Shot.
So just while Lemming's running through this and trying to get this again, I'll go through the evolution of how the sewers changed. When we used to do this, we used to have to very slowly run all the way to the sewer monsters, and it was during that part where you go through a doorway and you fight some sewer monsters, we kind of found that we can just do a bookmark save, and then do the exact same thing where when you load that bookmark, the sewer monsters are there, and they just kind of watch you, and they let you kill their eggs. They don't stop you, and you just walk back, and the mockers never check whether the sewer monsters are dead. They just believe you that you destroyed the eggs, and you go straight through. And it was because it's about 2 minutes of walking to that, and then 2 minutes of walking back. We kind of discovered maybe we should just do the fight. It's a lot more harrowing and it's a lot more risky, but maybe the fight would be faster. And then finding this skip just because applying that same logic of where we can quick save before the sewer monsters can be quick save here. Just as you see, it works. It's unfortunate that I think these are the only 2 fights in the game that or only 2 mandatory fights in the game that I can think of where the quick save, quick load actually does anything. A lot of the time you lose control before you can perform any form of save.
Yeah, there is one that's early on that you can do, but it doesn't actually. It kind of soft locks the game, but you can do that one in the early jail, right?
I'm trying to think of if it has any practical use to be able to do it though. Hey, well done getting that again.
No, none at all.
Yeah, I didn't think it did.
But we do have kind of a weird warp strat there that feels like it should do something, it just currently does not.
Do you want to take a bookmark just in case?
Good idea. No, we'll be very deliberate with our actions here. Just gonna exit the convo. Gonna say you best be careful, otherwise we're going to attack you, but we're past that now.
And you can't spawn the same guys in twice, of course. So this time they just stand there.
They just hang out, staring into the void.
This guy's got some kind of plague on his head. I mean, he's been living in the sewers. Can't really blame him.
Yeah, the classic sewer look. So then normally right here, a big fight with like 6 very highly powered people show up, and the idea is like this is your punishment for doing things in the objectively wrong way. But here we are at the end of the chapter. We've met Lucas, the owner of the bar, and as I mentioned, he's going to give us that breakdown of the different issues. We do have one more. You gonna break on me? Come on, man. Okay, this one's not a big deal, but it is kind of rude.
We are aware of that. Occasionally in conversation, if you skip the conversation too early, they just decide not to talk and nothing happens.
Yeah. Luckily, that one I have a bookmark lays it into my brain because he has ruined my day before doing that.
You've loaded chapter 0. That's okay, you can load the bookmark. So worth noting, the bookmark is just our quick save, quick load mechanic. It's called bookmarks. Inconvenient it's on F5 and F6 though, because it's very easy to press the wrong one or press them at the same time.
Yeah, we'll let them chatter a little bit here. I think Jazz Hard has to get into position here. They all like to get into their little queue, like it's a play or something. It's especially silly in cramped spaces, because then they can't actually move around in a way that's particularly elegant. You'll see what I mean when we clear this fight here. This is a basic showdown with 3 of your standard piratey types.
It's especially bad that you that when they do decide to do that walking, they walk instead of run. So you could be however far away, and whoever's at the back from that distance will just start walking, whereas everyone else got to run closer. Some unlucky RNG on the damage numbers here as well.
Yeah, I think we're okay though. We might have to move Jess. Oh no, okay, she's in line of sight. So here's a great example of how, like, the characters insist on being in a very particular spot for their dialogue, because now they're just all going to shuffle around each other, bump into each other. Lucas even tries to go around, sees Jess Harder, and turns around. This is just the intended version of the game, so I don't know why they did it this way. So we see that Lucas has somehow gotten inroads to the pirate's treasure, but they don't have the critical plot MacGuffin that the main pirate is after. Do some levels on William here. William is going to leave the party and do his own little mini chapters. Meanwhile, Jess Hart and James are going to stick to kind of the main content of the game here. So now that we've figured out that there's a plot MacGuffin in a wrecked ship under the sea, to get it, we have to solicit something called a Wreckers Guild. This is a very cool concept to me. Basically, it's a guild of tradesmen magicians who can raise wrecked ships out of the sea so people can get their cargo back. Of course, it's not going to be that simple. We're going to get all manner of side quests here, because it turns out the guild master has been murdered. Ah, jeez. So the early part of this chapter is going to be me clicking a couple of triggers. Hello.
And getting the cameras to behave for us.
Yeah, the camera angles are particularly atrocious here in the guild hall. Gonna click through some dialogue. Basically, the guild master's been murdered, and they expect a guildsman named Krondor of doing it. Spoiler alert, Krondor is going to be our next party member. He's a mage who found a super efficient way to raise ships. So after all this murder drama, we're just going to have him tag along and raise a ship for us. He's a very helpful backup mage to Jethara, which is going to become apparent in later chapters, where we basically only ever want Jethara and Krondor to get churns so they can clear the map of all manner of high-level enemies. I'm going to do a little glitch here where we're going to rest until nightfall to investigate this place properly, but if you exit out of the cutscene, the game gets a little confused and keeps you in your exact location. Normally, if you don't do that, it actually takes you back to the castle so you can rest, which is just going to be wasted time in the form of having to walk all the way back here and map back and everything. This is a little trap minigame. Oh, sorry, go ahead. This didn't blow up, so I don't have anything to explain.
Yeah, it won't update the map or the area around you until you actually transition to another scene, though. So if you go into a building, it then transitions to another scene, tries to send you back to the palace, realizes you're going in a building, and instead puts you in that building. If you were to move around and change camera angles, it would update the scene, realize it's nighttime, and then send you back to the palace.
Yeah, you can actually do, it's not like fast or anything, but you can do some funny stuff with it where you can trigger like daylight during night scenes or night during day scenes, and the gameplay will still think that it's the whatever state it's currently in. Back to Yield
by
Shady
far my
Tavern.
favorite chapter from the sheer number of glitches and exploits it has, and we get to do something very special for you all in a minute.
So let's make sure we tell him the truth. That'll trigger a trap door. Oh, let me level up Jethara before I forget. I want to get a we need to get fire to 100, and depending on when you level her up, it can actually be kind of a problem. So we got trap door because we're not very suave, and we kind of outed ourselves as agents of the prince of this town. But actually, Aethor, can you explain what the heck just happened here? Why are we fighting a demon now?
So we fall down that trapdoor and we're supposed to be ambushed by 4 guys. Those 4 guys are defending a mage that's behind here, a mage who summoned some evil things. But it turns out if you just click on the door whilst you're falling, you skip all those guys and go straight into here. You're then fighting a demon with a mage on his side. This mage is working with that guy Jorah, who's back at the Wreckers Guild, and they're all kind of just an evil group of people. But as you can see here, we've enslaved the demon, and obviously when you mind control something, if it kills its only friend, it dies.
Oh, we
might be lucky.
The game may have
might get
taken
run over
mercy after
hands.
seeing my tragic skip there. Let's see. We don't know for sure yet. This part of the
There are
game,
2 items that have that appearance.
if you're going for a world record, that mage fight is a critical component because there's a chance of him having some magical items that our non-mage characters can use. I mentioned earlier, later on, only our 2 mages are really going to do actions that are particularly helpful. But if we can get our other 2 party members that we're going to gain here, James and one other cleric later on, if we can get them some high utility magic weapons, suddenly our ability to get through certain fights in the game is so much better. Oh, it's not it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Shucks. Oh well. Anyway,
So what we're looking for is an item called the Dragon Staff, which does that. The same Lightning Wand ability, it does that in a staff that both James and the Priest can use. Sadly, this one was just a magical staff.
I forget what that hand wand is. I think it's like a healing item or something. Not terribly critical for what we need. One side effect of going through a trap door and clicking on a door before the next action, we get super speed.
We wish we could make the super speed last for the entire run.
Yeah,
this is the only time
it ends in this chapter. It's so tragic, and it actually screws up their path. And you can see Jess Hara here running in a big circle. This shopkeep is actually a plot character. She's keeping Krondor hidden while this whole murder thing blows over. Voiced by Jennifer Hale, actually. She does a couple of different characters in the game. James is going to loop again while going to the attic where Krondor is being held. James, hurry up. James.
It takes a while sometimes.
There we go. Kind of defeats the purpose of super speed a little bit, but it's still funny.
It definitely saves time in the long run, unless you get really unlucky. I used to have it happen for about 20 seconds on my old computer, and somehow changing my computer is what made it stop doing it.
Yeah,
so there's definitely some memory manipulation there.
These old games definitely have some mystery to them, and when they decide to be helpful and when they're not. So this is one of 3 William exclusive chapters. They're not very long. They all tend to consist of 1 battle each. And they're all pretty rough from an RNG standpoint. They're either really favorable or kind of mean. Fortunately, we had our archers go first, and our archers have armor-piercing arrows. This isn't even an item in the game that you can get. It's just these archers that happen to have it. Which is good, because this mercenary here in the front, he's got this full plate armor that basically only the archers can pierce through. So I appreciate that they give us these guys. Even if arrows are kind of slow.
Something we've not really covered too much is what we're doing there when we change from aggressive and conservative. It massively affects your defense values and your attack values, and that's your chance to hit mostly. So we put all of our AI, all our NPCs we have with us, we put them all onto aggressive because we want them to just smack things as best we can. Specifically those archers there, we want them to be able to hit that armored guy. And it means that they can't parry or evade very well, but they're archers, they shouldn't be being hit by anything, so it's the best thing for us.
Yeah, we also put our guardsmen into aggressive because they're actually immortal in this particular fight. And in a different fight, we actually want that to happen, but we'll get to that when it happens. This is going okay. Sometimes we can get really lucky with a special status effect round called Hero's Flurry, which actually increases each of our allies to do 1 additional attack per round, which you can imagine for this many guards and this many archers is a really big time swing. Here we got Villains Evade, which means that they're going to dodge an attack here or there, but we've been hitting okay so far.
It's been good.
If you're really unlucky,
also, you've done well to move up to them, so you don't have to wait for them to all run up to you.
Exactly.
Oh, Hero's Press, more chance to crit.
Perfect. Unfortunately, some of these back of the line guys have not a lot of health. They have more than 2 points though, so that guy should have hit a little harder. Yeah. William here should be able to clean it up.
Big Bosh. And now we're just waiting for our archers to clean up the heavily armored magical guy.
Yeah.
Were you able to get an oil for William by any chance?
I did pick one up.
That's good, just in case.
Yeah, we'll use it here if the archers really drop the ball, but otherwise we're going to save it for a different chapter. We're looking good here. He should be... This might be it. If he connects. Good. Okay.
Big.
Oh, I forgot this guy's still alive.
The
Hey,
big
come
benefit as
on,
well
don't
about
block.
having nice heavily armored guys. Oh, that's a double block. That's unfortunate. The big benefit about having heavily armored guys is we can steal that armor.
Yes, the big axe guy is probably going to have some really favorable loot for us. But for now, we have to do a little bit of plot here. We captured one of these guys alive. You can choose to speak to him or attack him. I'm going to be very deliberate in not attacking him because he also has full plate on, but for some reason your archers don't help this time around.
They just leave.
So, instead we're going to have a chat with him. What's funny is that if you go through the dialogue, it ends with an option where you can either be merciful to him, or you can just summarily execute him. And we used to execute him because, one, it's kind of fun. And two, because we thought that it would be more helpful for a future fight, but we've since found out that it's actually better to offer him mercy, so we'll do that.
Oh, nice.
Get some plate here. The magical pants. I don't think we got any magical weapons, so we'll skip that. Kind of unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
Marathon luck, eh?
Oh, yeah. I would have been surprised if we got any cool loot, to be honest. I feel like I so rarely get the cool stuff.
It's been a lot of runs through before we've had like a run where we got the right set of magical items, such as the dragon staff and a bunch of other things. And somehow never crossed our mind previously to actually item dupe the dragon staff, so we've just not been doing that, despite how good the item is.
That was pretty embarrassing.
And then we're like, oh, we should probably just start doing that moving forward.
Alright, okay, good. We didn't get the bad RNG here.
But right here, you're supposed to have an encounter where you have to talk to a bunch of people. If you get really unlucky, you get stuck in an auto-scroller. But turns out what you can do is you can just go to sleep and wait for them to leave, which we do there.
Yeah, another big, you're probably sensing a pattern here. Another big RNG swing is the encounters in this overmap. The one we're entering is a 100% guaranteed fight. Basically, the brigands are on our trail and they're going to try and kill us. So this is where we want to start to be mindful of the kind of spells we decide to use. For example, Jatara can keep doing that little lightning chain spell, but it has to bounce from all those different characters. So instead I'm actually going to use a max level spell here called Firestorm. Because it hits everybody at once and it kind of connects immediately. It's kind of hoping we down more than one person there, but so it goes. So just little things like that we got to be mindful of, because some of these animations can get really drawn out. In the last chapter, we did pick up some shopping here for Krondor. We got him his own Firestorm wand. We gave him a insta-kill wand as well. Just to guaranteed kills here. I was hoping to only have one person left standing here, but one of these guys hung on pretty well.
So it's taken a while to kind of root this chapter in particular because the sheer number... Oh, nice, that's good. The sheer number of fights there are in this area is quite a lot. We've found ways to skip a whole bunch of them, and then we found out that if we take the particular route that Lemming's going to be taking here, we have 3 RNG encounters and then 3 nothing encounters of the 6 steps we're going to move to after this fight. So we're praying for 0 encounters.
Okay, first chance here. Alright, well,
that's unlucky.
Not a great start, but we'll see where it goes. I'm going to cast another Firestorm here. Maybe we'll get lucky and down 1 or 2 of them. Or none of them, you know, whatever.
42 and 35 is not bad, though. It's a good start.
I forgot that these ones are actually, like, real damage sponges. Like, these are, normally other characters would have much redder little rings of health under their character. They're like that guy. That's kind of more what we were hoping to see. There we go. Good job, James.
There's the guard. So something that Lemming does there is he puts James into guard, which means if anything comes close, he can make attacks equal to his number of attacks he's allowed on the other characters. 2 guys coming close, you attack both of them.
Okay, so, you know, we didn't want that fight to begin with, but this one actually went pretty okay. If we're going to get it, might as well go like that. And here is a quest giver. Farmer Thomas' kids got kidnapped. A lot of kids getting in trouble in this game. Oh. And oh no, another one. this one
is the easiest.
Yeah, you do bone wand twice and just take these guys out. What's funny is these two aren't even, like, I think, plot characters. They're just random dudes that just decided they want to throw hands with you.
So there's a chance whenever we cast that bone wand that the enemies can resist and they only take half damage instead of instantly dying. They take half of their maximum health. However, any creature that's not in some way magical is just probably going to die.
Yeah, so here's another fun skip. We're going to get attacked by this weird two-headed monster here, but fortunately you can just pull up the map and just not. Oh, okay. We skipped one fight. 2 out of 3. Could be worse.
Not the marathon like I was expecting, honestly.
Oh yeah. We're now being behest by air elementals, and don't let the wings fool you. These guys can't actually clear the distance of a little crevice here, so we're just going to run out of the way.
They're air elementals. They're really not allowed to touch any form of earth.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, good lore.
With the ground beneath them, they wouldn't be able to use the air to keep themselves afloat or something.
Yeah, so a little last.
Worth noting, we're supposed to be stood at the edge there, getting hit by them, but during that bit, for some reason, it doesn't check for your movement. You can just walk away.
Alright, so Krondor tried to raise the ship, but for some reason it didn't work, so now we have to go into the local village and figure out why that's not working properly. A whole other, classic sidetracked quest in an RPG. Here is William chapter number 2. This one's kind of interesting. We're gonna... The main goal is to clear the fight with the brigands and kill them as quickly as we can. But, we also want to make sure that, if at all possible, that we actually get our guards killed as well. If we can achieve that... that was a good hit. Yeah, jeez. Back up William a little bit. The antagonist here, Bear, this fellow with the beefy arm, he is very insistent on trying to kill William, almost to the point of ignoring great hits on the guard, so we try and keep our distance for a little bit. We'll see if it actually works. Gonna have this guy hopefully draw aggro for a little bit. It's pretty hard to actually get the ideal all pirates dead while all the guards are dead, but we're gonna try it anyway.
You see there, that's the reason why we hold on to that fire oil. There's that guy at the very back. He's quite a big guy. Again, he's going to have some magical arm guards on, which just means he takes reduced damage. The fire oil cleans straight through that. Funny enough, magical armor does not beat Molotov cocktail.
So I'm glad that guard's down, but that actually may get us into trouble depending on how effective we are clearing the rest of these guys. I'm actually going to have William step up to the plate here and see if he can down this guy, because he has a lot of HP, so it's good for William to hit him. Good. Okay.
Oh, well done.
He gets another attack. I don't think it matters, though. Oh, Hero's Flurry. I couldn't even take advantage of it. That's a shame. There we go. Now Bear's like, wait a minute. I hate this guy. He seems to always hit, and he tends to always hit for the same damage, which 6 is pretty good. Sometimes it's 12.
Yeah, I think that's where the crits come in for sure.
Alright, down that fella. Let's see if we can close the distance a little bit here. Okay, good. That guy's gonna go and hopefully do some damage on the guard. I wouldn't mind one more guard churn. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, lovely.
I've never seen him do that before.
I think if you get them close enough, he'll hit them willingly. It's just hard to actually get them close enough.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, we're gonna take care of Axe Guy here. Hopefully Bear will just keep attacking the guard. That'd be great.
45, wow.
Darn, okay.
You might be able to adjust your camera to a more favourable angle for you to get closer.
Oh, does that work?
Oh. Okay, so what's going to happen
is
now those guards are dead, we're just going to have a skip happen, which is great. This is a really, really clean chapter 6.
Yeah, so this guard is going to wail on us for one churn, and then now that everyone's dead, what's supposed to happen is we find out that this guy's actually immortal, which is problematic for our quest to kill him. But the guards are the ones that say that, and the guards are dead. So we're just going to skip straight to the end of the chapter, which is him getting away. I'm going to keep this video here because I love this close-up on his nostril.
Along with that, it's worth noting that if you're immortal, you also have unskippable dialogue, which is why that's so valuable there that we don't have to listen to him talk for 20 seconds. And I'm sure Lemming and I could both quote that word for word if needed.
Oh, yeah.
From the amount of times we have to hear it.
I mean, the one nice thing about it is that that pirate bear is voiced by the late, great Earl Bowen, who most people in the chat might recognize as the voice of the ghost pirate LeChuck from Monkey Island. Well, there's that at least, but also I'm happily going to take like that huge time save of them not saying anything, so that went great. Alright, so here we are in the village of Halden Head. Turns out they're having some issues with villagers disappearing in the dead of night. Everyone we talk to will say that it's either wolves or just some weird bad vibes coming from a woodcutter's shack. And I don't really know what they're talking about. I think this is a perfectly normal place to live.
I'd live there.
Yeah. What's funny is you actually have to talk to somebody about the shack first. Otherwise, your characters will approach this ominous-looking shack and be like, this could be someone's house. We better not go in. That'd be rude. Oh, down goes Kenny.
It's unusual, though, seeing just some guy brawling and then able to just completely sap your life force. I don't think he's normal.
Yeah.
There might be something going on with this guy.
Yeah, so again, it's a speedrun. We're going to be skipping a lot of stuff here, but what you're supposed to find out is that these are vampires.
Well, mention, I think you need to level up Krondor.
I do need to level up Krondor.
Otherwise, you won't be able to get to 100 before chapter 9.
We do need the 90 though, so we're good.
We do, yeah. Now, when you level up later, you should be fine. A weird thing about this game is every time you level up, you can give up to 30 points into a stat. Those points get more expensive the closer you get to 100. But if you get 3 or 4 level ups in a row, you'll have, say, 400 stats worth using. But you can still only put 30 points into the stat, which is a really weird mechanical leveling up feature of this game.
Yeah, so it's easy in a speedrun to forget to do it, and then you pile on so much experience that you can't actually use a ton of it. It's weird. I'm not even sure it's intended, to be honest. Okay, that's a bad
initiative.
The
biggest RNG fight of the game. We need good initiative, and they have villains accelerate.
This might be a restart. It's already going badly.
Yeah. We reset this fight so frequently because of how unlucky.
Let's give that another go.
Jazhara has to survive round 1, pull off 1 spell, and then it's normally free from that point onwards. It took a while for us to realize it, but when reading through all the spells one by one, there's a caveat that says if you cast the Behold Birthing Sun, which just blinds enemies, it also does damage to vampires, which is great. To undead generally.
And now the game changer when I played as a kid, I was like, oh, wow, okay, now I can actually beat the game, because these stupid vampires are so overpowered. Alright, he went for James. I don't really care if he goes for James. We really just need Jazhara to get a churn off. The little girl vampire goes first. Try not to die, Jazhara. Dodge, dodge.
It's very expected to see 3, 4, maybe even up to like 10 resets in this fight. It can be so luck-based.
Yeah, we do have some control over it in the form of James, who's not doing his job. Again, James, as a thief, has very high initiative, so if he actually does manage to go first, we can meat shield him in front of our casters, and we'll have generally a more favorable chance of the mages actually getting a churn off. But so far, these vampires are not having it.
This is also another reason why we want to get those really nice early magical items like that dragon staff, or the fire staff also.
And we're going to have James die again here. Doesn't matter if Jessica... This is more common on world record pace. Oh, we went for Ken. Okay, so I don't love that Ken's down, but if we can... Okay, well, it's down. Doesn't matter.
He only had 1 health. He doesn't have any health on him, so he couldn't survive the hit.
Ken is helpful on that fight, but what you really need is Jazhara to get a turn, because she has the blind spell, which will disable our vampires. Yeah, let's give that a go here.
You'll see the difference between across the time of these runs, whenever we've had these runs. If you see us doing a normal run, this happens, and it can kill like a world record pace so easily.
Here we go.
That's a good start.
So now we're going to stick James here. So now these 2 jerks on the far right are going to go for him.
And more likely to miss as well.
Whew.
There's Jazz, there we go.
Yeah, that's a rough patch. I mean, there's not a lot of control we have over that currently. Actually, we can also do the quick save exploit here too, can't we? It doesn't actually allow us to progress the game. Yeah.
You're right. Actually, you can. And what happens when you do the quick save exploit is you can just walk around with them watching you, but it doesn't. Yeah, it does nothing game wise.
So here's the power of the blind spell, is that in addition to them not murdering us, their turns go super duper quickly because all they can do is just kind of wince in pain.
It can, however, break a little bit though. Sometimes they will just attack you regardless of being blind.
That is true.
This big guy at the end, especially.
Yeah, some of the higher level enemies just seem to
reason.
resist it sometimes. Alright.
And if we're lucky, maybe we'll get something good.
Yeah. That might be something. We'll
Possibly
put it on.
magical ring, yeah.
We're not in a position to check it anymore, but sometimes we can just slap it on and hope that it's good.
We kind of know just based on the appearance of what an item is that there's a chance it's magical, and that one could be a Ring of Storms, which would improve Kendaric's storm magic or make him less likely to fail at casting the spell, which is ideal.
I think it actually guarantees that the cast will work, which...
so necessary.
Yeah, because we're going to have Kendaric do something kind of clutch for us near the end of the game, but he has a pretty good chance of just flubbing the spell entirely, so it's kind of it's a real coin flip. But if you're lucky, you get the right equipment.
Beautiful to show you.
Yeah, we'll see. So what we're doing now is we're just kind of doing some plot catch up here. So now that the vampires are gone, we're gonna do some backwards investigation into what set them loose. If we had played the game casually, we'd find out that everyone blames it on the local healer woman. Everyone assumes she is a witch. Here we're gonna moment of truth here. Of course. Okay, so what I did there is a chance in this chapter to get a deeply annoying, very drawn out random encounter with some goblins ambushing you, which we got. Now, I did it there for a reason. Basically, if you get it and restart, I find that more often than not, you're going to keep getting it as you reload. But by triggering it there, I'm hoping that I'm going to mess with the just kind of the state of the game enough that it won't come up when I actually need to go to that destination later. So we'll see if my theory holds true here. For now, we have gathered enough evidence to find out that it was not, in fact, the local healer woman. She did not set vampires loose. It was actually a false priest of the town. And the final piece of the puzzle is this farmer over here. Farmer Alton over here spoke publicly against the witch at the last town hall, said that this witch gave him the evil lie and cursed his cows. I don't know what he's talking about. These cows look great. These are totally normal, totally healthy looking cows. But it turns out that actually he poisoned his own cow feed. So we're going to talk to him and say, hey, what gives? And he's going to explain everything in very helpful detail. Take it away, Farmer Alton. Oh.
Sometimes, I don't know why, he has a very, very, very magical weapon on him. A very rare magical artifact.
Oh, yeah, that's bizarre.
Casual farmer.
The way loot RNG works in this game is deeply fascinating. I would love to, one day find a way to actually look at the code for it. So what we're doing now is item duping this necklace he had on him. And I know it did choke him to death, which is, maybe makes us not want to use it. But the reason we're doing that is for a part later in the game where if the whole party is wearing one of these, we can actually skip 2 fights. Different parts of that chapter will actually kill you for doing that, but we're not going to go to that part, so it's no big deal.
One of the huge factors about that is that part that we're trying to skip just breaks the run so frequently. Sometimes the fight just stops happening. They'll just be stuck in combat and no one's moving. So this is such a find. Yeah. So we're also dodging yet another run killer. You may be sensing a pattern here. I don't think this game wants to be speedrun, but we're gonna do it anyway. The game is actively trying to stop us.
Mustn't hurt them.
What are we supposed to do? Let him kill us? So he's at this point the evil priest is taking control of the town, and we have to kill him. But all the townspeople are going to take their turn as well. We're going to. We got very lucky there. So basically, we don't want to kill the townspeople because they'll get really mad about it and complain, and it takes a lot of time. But we also hate having them take their turns too. But fortunately, Jethara came in clutch and blinded all of them. So now they're going to take their turns really quickly by just kind of wincing. That's going to save a ton of time. Otherwise, it's just that horrible attack animation over and over and over again. That's just that was optimal. Yeah.
Fight.
All right, everyone, go back to your queues. Places, people. Come on. We can't talk under the
Some
roof.
of the longest dialogue here as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Come on. There we go. So now they're gonna be like, "Hey, what happened?" And we're gonna say, "Oh, it was your priest. It wasn't the witch at all." And they're like, "Oh, we feel really bad about trying to burn her at the stake. Will you kindly?" Oh, it worked.
Good stuff.
Okay. So anyway, the town asks to apologize to her on her behalf, and she says, "Well, forget those people. They're obnoxious. I will do you a boon and show you the future." Gonna call it out right now. We do have a flashing light warning. It's pretty mild at first, just this kind of flickering flame. I do urge anyone with sensitivity to this to avert your eyes until I say so, because at the end of that phase, there is a pretty intensive 3 to 4 seconds of flashing light. You're not missing much, basically. You're finding out that there's a bunch of necromancers under the village. Bad place to put a village. The necromancers want to sacrifice Krondor, our mage, so they can raise the ship themselves and get the plot MacGuffin.
William.
So we're going to try for that to not happen. Now, if you've been averting your eyes, you may now look again. We've got past the flashing lights for this game. We're on our final William chapter, which is him floating down a river he jumped into in full plate, which is bad for your health. And he's either hallucinating and or having a prophetic vision with his dead girlfriend and the god of vengeance who she swore to before she died. For some reason, this involves a very on-rails fight with 6 demons. It's pretty much impossible to lose this fight, but we still have to go through it. So we're going to just pray that William does some high damage here and gets us through it as quickly as we can.
If we're lucky, who hits the enemies, he gets quick kills.
Yeah.
He can do, I think, 96 damage, and they normally have between 96 to 111 down health.
Yeah, this is where you start to notice that sometimes the animations give away what's going to happen. For example, these demons, they kind of hunch over like that when you know they're about to die. So even before the attack comes, you know that's going to be the killing blow. The somewhat
we
true.
have it earlier with some of the other NPCs where they'll like drop their sword before they die.
Yeah, like for no reason at all, characters like let their guard down in advance. Like the game knows well ahead of the animation what's going to happen. So it would be great if someday we could figure out a way just to like arbitrarily speed this up, because the attack animations, as funny as these bonks are, if we could find a way to kind of move this along, it would really turn this into a more consistently sub-hour run. As of now, I think you have world record, right? It's like 58 minutes or something?
Yeah, currently the record run is 58:10.
Nice. I think both of our Sons of Beth are like 55 or something ridiculous.
We could, if we got everything, we could easily break 55.
Yeah,
but it's so heavily luck reliant.
Yeah, the odds of actually getting that.
Yeah, we couldn't break that 1 hour barrier for ages, even though we had so much potential to do it, until Lemming found about the Black Pearl necklace duplication that he just did. And that saves us a solid 2-3 minutes, and it really broke that 1 hour barrier really nicely for us. I think you got the 1 hour barrier break 2 or 3 months ago.
I think so, yeah. I think it was in practice for a marathon submission video, actually. When I was like practicing for that. And actually knew how to do my sewer skips properly. Oh man, this demon is just taking a sweet time. There we go.
And this is a prime example of why we don't like enemies to hit. We like to make sure they're either dead or blind, and because the first hit, because of their warm up and they're getting into combat, takes like 6 seconds, and then every hit after that's 2 or 3 seconds. So that over the course of an hour-long run, you can imagine is quite a lot of time you lose to fighting. Anyway,
we wake up in a swamp, as you do. He's going to come to and find out that he's been rescued by the most trustworthy-looking man in the world. This is CD. CD doesn't do a lot in this game. I think it's kind of implied he's going to be a big bad for sequels that never ever happened. But we're going to agree to help him because that's the most expedient way, even though, really, you probably shouldn't trust that guy. Alright, on to Chapter 9. 2 chapters left. We're done with William chapter, so we're just going to have James and crew for the remainder.
We have Krondor's level up for the final 10 points in Storms.
Yeah, is he? Okay. That should increase our just pump
Probably
his initiative too. And defense, why not? Sometimes he gets targeted by those arrows. Okay. Chapter 10 is a little shorter. Chapter 9 is kind of our last meaty chapter. We have to go into the Necromancer dungeon and clear it out. Proper classic
Really
RPG
good
stuff
puzzles too.
RPG stuff, rather. Yeah, here's puzzle number 1. I'm going to do a bookmark here. I usually get this without any trouble, but if I flub it, then we have to go into a fight, and we hate fights. Fights take forever.
This puzzle is particularly problematic just because the mouse movement isn't where your mouse is. It can be really janky to try and get those clicks off properly.
Yeah, we'll do that. There we go.
Sometimes it just does not want to behave for you.
There we go.
Perfect. And the Black Pearl necklace we were talking about, this after entering the store, this is that first combat skip. We'd normally get attacked by 2 little tentacles here.
Yeah.
Tentacles that wish
That's why we get experience for no reason, because it assumes that you actually fought it, came back, and figured out that you're supposed to do this, but we went ahead and duped them and took care of it in advance. Here's a fight with some goblins with some very tedious camera angles. This fight isn't too dangerous, it's just more about trying to be efficient. There's an archer on one of these camera angles that can take out one of your mages, which can be pesky.
Ooh.
Yeah, like that.
Like that.
You also hate when the archers go, because look at this, they take forever. We much prefer to kill them before they even get the chance. I think the ones on James are going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let's pop off a chaos thing. Let's see if we can hit that archer.
7-2 is a very nice big hit.
Almost.
A weird mechanic with the chain lightning spells we're doing here is the first hit will always be near max damage, and the second hit will always be near minimum damage. There's no reason why that's a thing, it's just something in the way the item was coded. So you have to try and make sure whoever's going to get hit by that second hit doesn't need the big damage.
Alright, we should be able to clear this without too much fanfare. I think the other 2 should be dead, yeah. These 2 in the front were never going to survive our AoE casting. Alright, here we are in a kind of where the dungeon branches out into a bunch of different rooms.
And one of my favourite voice lines, which we might not get to hear.
I'll play it, even as behind as I am. It's only like 5 seconds. I love whoever voiced these ghouls here, just the weird growling they're doing. And they had fun with it. Yeah, I just cast a wand of delete guy.
What were those?
What in the name of the gods was that?
Ghouls.
Girls.
Ghouls.
We know he's saying ghouls, but it definitely sounds like what he's saying is when you're in the bottom of a dungeon in the catacombs underneath a village where lots of shipwrecks happen, there are girls. And you should be scared of girls.
Of the dark god's displeasure.
Unskippable skull dialogue. These skulls are duped by our Black Pearl necklaces, but they do want us to have the key to the door, but we're just going to lockpick if they don't care. Cast Blindy. If she's lucky, well, she'll down most of these, but there's usually 1 or 2 hangers-ons here. Or all of them, and whatever.
They all took a solid amount of damage though, so hopefully the next spell will clean them up.
Yeah, that should hopefully kill all of them at once if we're fortunate.
Oh, 1 straggler.
What a jerk.
So we're approaching the biggest, hardest fight of the game, and some of the coolest mechanics if you can get them to behave.
I think I skipped James's turn, unfortunately, but at least we can get the Chaos Storm going. Or not the Chaos
Sky
Storm,
Warrior.
Sky Warrior. Oh, we got it!
Yes, and it worked. Amazing. So now that we've got that first spell off, which is a really hard spell to pull off, we can now pull out a massive exploit and a beautiful glitch.
Yeah, so there's a very low-level lightning spell that's just a basically kind of gives you like a kind of like a cantrip shock attack, just to use Dungeons and Dragons terms. But when you have the high-level Sky Warrior active on Krondor, it gets confused and actually will do high-level damage. So we can basically do these like big enemy killer moves twice for Krondor. I did mess up a little skip where I can try and get those 2 casts off twice, but that's alright. Oh, don't kill him, that would really bum me out.
Another thing
I didn't
to
blind
note
him,
is
that's
the
right.
secondary hits on the Chaos 1 tier can hurt the Lich, the undead creature, who otherwise can't be hurt from targeting him with spells. But those extra hits that come out can, for some reason.
Yeah, so indirect attacks can be helpful, unless it misses. Good gravy. So the whole idea is that you're not supposed to be able to kill this guy until he goes through all of his little phases here. Sometimes you can get lucky and kill him during this one, though. Blind James, fine, I don't care about that. Alright, let's get our... We're gonna have Jethara cast these Chain Lightning spells so she can keep getting some damage on the undead creature here, as it's called.
Ah, nice.
Yay, we got
That's
it!
a crit. Oh yeah, that's the quick kill.
Perfect.
You love to see that happen.
Yeah, so we skipped the whole thing where he, like, it's kind of funny, but he kind of like floats to the top of the arena above that black pearl there, and then you have to deal with him. But that was an early kill. Perfect.
It's really nice to see you pull out that exploit properly, effectively, and it for working on a marathon.
I know. I actually so rarely get it nowadays for whatever reason. He just like whether either Krondor like flubs his spell cast or the whatever kind of AI determines where the lightning goes, it just tends not to favor him. Anyway, I know we're going a little overestimate here, but it's not going to be by much. We have about maybe 5 to 7 minutes left in the run, I think. It is unfortunately mostly walking here, so I'm just going to summarize what we're trying to do here. So now that we've killed all the necromancers, we can raise our ship and get our plot MacGuffin. We find out that it's a magical crystal that lets you talk to gods. So our pirate antagonist, because he has an immortal amulet, says, you know what, I'm going to use this just to cause all kinds of grief in the godly realm, and they can't do anything to me. I think that's kind of a questionable plan on its head, but you know, whatever. That's what he's committed to. So we have to go pick up this crystal before he can get to it and take it back to Krondor. That's the purpose of our cleric here, by the way, who has been pretty useless this fight. He's a cool character casually, but just the way the speedrun works, there's just really not much he brings to the table, so we just always skip his turn. But plot-wise, he's
got some
along for the
magic as
ride.
well. There's just none of the magics at all ever useful. It's great when you're playing the game casually and you need healing spells, but once you know how the game works and you do what we do and we just break it wide open, he just brings nothing, which is the other reason why we want that staff so badly in the early game.
Oh, one hanger on, of course. There's always one that can't even target him. Okay, Jessara, why don't you walk 5 feet in that direction, and then do it. So silly. This chapter is also so straightforward. I feel like they added these weird arbitrary zombie fights just because they felt they needed to pad it out a bit.
Yeah, there's got to be something to give it some context. The next fight, for example, is completely... Why is that in this?
Yeah.
You'll see it.
So a little bit about this game from context. This is a 3D sequel to Betrayal at Krondor, a very beloved DOS RPG, which you should play both these games. But it wasn't as well regarded for being with more linear scope, but I think this game actually does a great job of really sealing and explaining the lore of historical Midkemia. Like, everything's really grounded for the fantasy limitations of it. So here's this giant enemy crab, and we're gonna have Jethara hit its weak point for massive damage.
Perfect reference.
I love this thing. Like, what is going on? Like, who... Like, they had to actually, like, code in a unique crab enemy. They animated the little pincers and everything. No one even acknowledges it. Like, what... Like, the characters next, they're going to talk about an ultimate weapon for Soul and the cleric in the back. They're just like, you know, crab, whatever. Also, it's very funny that someone gets his ultimate weapon when there are 2 fights left in the entire game. Alright, we're gonna let everyone draw their weapons there. Otherwise, you can
We
get
have
a
to
little.
specifically slow down here, yeah, because if you go too quickly, it's another point where the game just breaks during combat and no one takes their turn.
Normally, I just YOLO it, but yeah, we're not playing that game anymore.
My first sub 1 hour died to this fight, sadly.
I love whoever went into the voice recording studio that day and said, "Hey, give me your best zombie," and they went like they're underwater or something. Okay, this next bit isn't really a fight per se. We have to fight this magical seahorse. It's a dragon soul, but come on, it's a seahorse.
It's a dragon, apparently.
We just have to not die while our cleric casts our Ghost Be Gone.
You've got the Ring of Immunity to lightning damage on Krondor.
I do! Yeah. Hey, alright!
That's amazing! So when we said that ring might be magical, it's probably lightning based. There you go.
Yeah,
made that encounter completely free.
Perfect. Normally what happens there, it's not a hard encounter, but you have to kind of watch your health. Because obviously if the party dies, you will lose. But oftentimes that dragon soul will actually flub its cast enough that you don't even have to worry about it. So normally we have this whole system where we try and count out the amount of attacks it does. And if it does too many, we'll heal up the party. But that, of course, takes time to actually go into the menu and quaff a potion. So that's great. I can't believe that ring we slotted like half a run ago ended up coming in clutch. Normally,
so just as we were in kind of... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're on about 30 seconds of just running around, so I just want to say a big shout out to Lemming for routing this in the first place. I'd always wanted to run this game and never got the chance to route it because I just didn't know where to go or what was required. And Lemming did such a good job of getting this to, I think the first run was an hour and 40 with just that initial routing, and we've worked on it a lot since then. So just a big shout out to Lemming for the hard work you put into getting this all planned out.
Oh yeah, thank you. And hey, you've also gotten this from like, I think, you've probably like 15 minutes worth of skips just from you alone. If you are interested in checking the game out, we don't have a Discord or anything. We're just 2 people, but we do chat pretty often whenever we find new things about the game. We're always happy to show you the ropes. I've got a good run of commentary somewhere here if you ever really want to get a good grip on it. So this last fight is kind of funny. We're just fighting our general suite of brigands that you've seen plenty now. I think at some point they realized that because this is the last real fight in the game, that they should make it kind of hard. So their solution for this was to make this axe fella on the far left to have arbitrarily high hit points. Like you can see, we just did like 66 damage to him, and he's still standing.
Or 300?
If you're gonna throw an oil at us, fine, whatever. Screw you, Solon in particular. Fortunately, we have the Wand of Delete guy, so we're just gonna hit him with that.
The official name for it, by the way, the Wand of Delete guy.
Yeah, and you'll see how much health he had left. It's like 190. Like it's.
On top of the damage he's already taken.
Yeah, there's our final boss, Axe Guy. So that kicks off our final mostly on rails sequence. We're not going to call time yet because there are situations where we have to click through stuff. But basically, William, with the aspect of Kahuli, the God of Vengeance, is going to get power from his ghost girlfriend. Because the amulet is actually dependent on the power of Kahuli, the God of Vengeance, then we can actually do damage to him. Don't worry about it, it's kind of sort of explained. Time will be when we... 96! Time will be when we down bear here. There we go.
GG.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you skip the dialogue here, the
we
game
might crash here. Maybe not. Let me see if I can get the 1998 3D hug. Aww.
Yeah.
They tried their best. I must go. My planet needs me. All right. Thank you for your patience as I... Okay, then we cut here. All right, ASMR, thank you very much for hopping on there and talking me through while I was flubbing those skips here.
I've been an absolute pleasure doing the commentary with you. I think think we're still live. If you want to give any shout outs to anyone, I think there's a few people that reminded us about things like item duplication.
Oh, we're cut, but yeah, we'll
Okay.
if people reach out, we'll revisit it.